So it's a possibility that I am. Good morning, guys. What's up? It's your boy Talk Williams, host and creator Hip Hop 50th. And it is a sunny, somewhat of a fallish Thursday morning, and I am in Chinatown. That's where I am. But you see the title of this live. The title of this live says, if you want to win most of your debates, let the other person talk. Let the other group speak. Let the panel speak. And just use their own words against them. I have probably 3 strong or top strategies when I'm in these debates or these rhetorical discussions, or, when guys are sitting around just having fun, and sometimes the conversations or the content itself or the subject matter can be pretty deep, right? It's not always just, you're just goofing around, not making the point. No, a lot of it, you are making a point. There's a point to be made. There's some things that happens, and, you just get into it. Not so much with women. I really don't do it with females, because women, they have different tendencies, propensities, and a lot of times agendas. So I stay away from that type of discussion or debates, different things like that with women. Now, if men are present, then I can get into it. But if men aren't necessarily present, I don't really do the one-on-ones or the one-on-twos with women so much. I do it, and I have, because all of a sudden you're not looking for it, but it just happens. There is some fun or some enjoyment to the spontaneity of debate, discussion, rhetoric, different things like that. But what I'm pretty much saying is, people have different ways, techniques, and strategies or tactics when they debate, when they argue, when they discuss, when they're passionate. Call it whatever you want. Is one of my easy go-tos. Like, and the reason why I say it's an easy go-to, what I mean by that, it's effective, and it's always right there. It's an easy grab for me. Like, it doesn't require a lot of prep work. It doesn't require a lot of studying or research. And what I mean by it doesn't require a lot of study and research is, sometimes when you're debating certain things, you may not be as up on it as you should be in terms of the knowledge, or at least some threshold level of understanding to enter into that level of discussion that's present, because the levels change. It doesn't matter if it's one guy or 4 or 5 guys, or one woman, or several, or a combination of both. That really doesn't matter. The level of conversation or the level of discussion for that particular subject matter is just different depending on the circles you're in, the point being made, how it initiates. And so many times you'll find yourself like you're not the SME, S-M-E, the subject matter expert, okay? You're not the person, oh, I've been in politics and I am a lawyer and I'm a barred licensed lawyer in several states, whatever. Or if it's about anything, whether it's health, like I said, law, financial, parenthood, you may not have any kids, or you might have did terrible with yours. Whatever the situation is, an easy grab, like if you just want to grab something just to participate, whether on a serious level or to have some fun just kicking it, is let the other people talk and use their own words against them. I do it all the time because it's easy. That's why I say it's an easy grab, it's an easy go-to. It's like somebody saying, hand me that pencil right there. Because even if the pencil, the point on the pencil is not sharp, it's dull, I can still write with it. Or even if you hand me the pencil and the point is broken, you can't even see the lead. Well, because most pencils are not made with pine wood. I can just take my fingernail or a piece of something and break back the wood and expose the lead so I can still write with it. That's what I mean by it's an easy grab. And the reason why, if you find yourself in these debates, whether it really doesn't matter what the subject matter or the domain is, most people, when they start presenting, they do it from a position of rhetoric. That's what they do. And most of their premises or thesis statement come from something visceral. They articulate it from, I'm gonna make this word up, their viscerality. Now, of course, viscerality I don't think is a word. Visceral is a word. I just like using my poetic license and saying anything sometimes, like just creating the word viscerality. I don't know if viscerality is a word, but I know that visceral is a word, and you guys may struggle with that because you haven't heard that before. Visceral. Many of you have, and you're well aware of what that understanding is. But for me, a lot of it is that. And what do I mean by people, their premise or their thesis statement or their opening act when it comes to debating or rhetoric or discussion? Well, no matter how serious it is, it could be academic, it could be anything. It could be at the coffee shop, it could be at a park, it could be in your house, it could be at a rooftop. It doesn't matter. Here's why. People have a tendency, most human beings, their thesis and their premise is typically going to be their emotions, their feelings, their stomach. So when I say visceral, I mean from the gut, from the stomach, okay? And it's nothing wrong with that, because a lot of times we associate that viscerality, I made that up again, that visceral feeling, which is a real word, visceral, as a gut check, as a gut feeling. And even though we know intuition, we know our natural senses, and we have other things that are real or more empirical, tangible, confirmable, and, taught, acknowledged, accepted, authorized, right? We do have this gut thing, and then we do have what's called spidey senses. So typically our spidey senses are typically referred to as our antenna, okay? Sensing or picking up certain things, energies, just friction in the air. What's out there? Antenna, like an insect. But our gut feeling is slightly different, even though it's performing a particular task. And I'm not going to get into that right now because that's not what this is about. And I haven't had my coffee yet. So warning, anything I say might be radical, might be off. This is my little disclaimer because I have not had my morning coffee. But I will say this. Most people, they speak from the gut. They speak from their emotions. That's what they do. They say what they feel, but they say it in the way of a thesis. They say it in the way of a premise. And that is the low-hanging, easy fruit that you can feed off in any debate. Yeah, that right there. Yeah, I'm telling you. See, all you got to do is listen to what a person says. Because what most people do when they're debating or arguing, and arguing is not a bad thing, especially when you're doing it with people where the argument is the argument. It's not a personal attack on people. But of course, keep this in mind. You can tell when people are at their wits' end. I do it all the time with people. I can always tell when they're at their wits' end. You know what they do? They attack me personally. That's when I know it's game over. I've won the debate. I've won. Once you can get a person to attack you personally, trust me, they're at their wits' end. They're gone. Their IQ gone, fried. Not Not you dumbed them down. No, no. It's just that so much of what they said and so much of what they presented early on as the premise, as the thesis, as the here's my opening statement, rides and rest on that when you chew through it, they're lost for thoughts. Because they start to realize in that circular motion of logic that what they said was not what it is. What they said was how they felt. And once you can get a person that think that they have the acumen or intellectual fortitude to articulate certain things and make an argument, which they probably do. Here go the crazy part. It's not like I'm the smartest person or you're the smartest person. It's not like they don't know anything. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is their mistake is not they didn't know. Their mistake was they used an emotional premise. They used how they felt, not what it was, to establish the premise, the initial thought, the opening act, the thesis. That's what they use. And because they use that, all you got to do, that's why I allow people to go. I say, go. I say, what? What you mean by that? I just try to kind of get an understanding of what they mean. Because, you want to be fair to people. And I'm a fair guy. So when people start saying, well, Todd, what you think about this? Well, Todd, this don't make no sense because of that. What I try to do is get some context. So I try to say, okay, so are you saying it don't make sense? I'm just trying to get some clarity. And then they go into it, right? Because in their mind, they've already decided that they know what they're talking about. They already decided, even though it's coming across like they want to have a discussion with you, it's really not a discussion that people want to have to you. It's really, they want to inform you. They want to do a monologue, which is one way. They just want to disguise it, or in the facade, or in the curtains of what seems like, I want your opinion. They really don't. They want to just tell you what it is. And they want you to leave with their thoughts, right? I call it practicing. That's what I tell people. When they do it with me, I say, look, stop practicing. They say, stop. What do you mean practice? Well, whatever you're doing, whatever that strategy is, with me, I call it practice. Because it just never works. But back to the debate, back to the rhetoric. What I'm saying is a lazy, easy, lackadaisical way of debating people is let them establish emphatically, because it's, like I said, 85% of the time is emotional. It's not clinical. It's really not mythology. There's no method. There's nothing there. There's no structure. There's no real framework for them to stand on. And then once they're out there, right, you know what you do? You have them qualify their own statements. That's it. You don't have to be smart. You have them qualify their own words. You have them present. You have them be the SME. You have them articulate some different way of expressing whatever they said. Because remember, this is basic. This is probably some real kindergarten-ish, grammar school-ish level thinking, right? You got the premise or the thesis statement. Then you got these 3 supporting bullet points or topics or subjects, whatever. But everything, even down to the summary or the conclusion, everything has to support the what? The premise, the thesis. And all you do is you hold them to that. This is not you being bright. Of course, you're applying some logic. Of course, you're doing some dialects. Of course, you're doing different things like that. But that will come naturally to you. That's not research you have to do. That's just engagement. And if you live, you know how to engage human beings. But anyway, that's just a tip. That's my morning tip. Because last night I was at a McDonald's last night, and it was about 4 or 5 guys there, and we got into it about a particular subject matter, the government. And here's the funny thing. That's why I say you let people talk and you let people present and you let them go ahead with their thesis, their premise, and all of that. Here's what you'll find when you go to get the people to qualify what they're saying. All of a sudden, here comes this level of sanctimony. Listen to what I'm saying. All of a sudden, here comes this level of hypocrisy. All of a sudden, you're looking at the person like they're crazy. And the reason why you're looking at the person like they're crazy is because all of a sudden, the things that they said in their opening act, the words that they stood on, that premise, that thesis that they made, now everything they saying is contrary to what they initially stated. And you can tell, you'll see signs of it, I promise you. Because all of a sudden, they're not even talking about real things anymore. They start talking about ideas. Yeah. This is when you know they're on a slippery slope of being at their wits' end. And then when they run out of ideas, meaning it just becomes a bunch of word salad, they're not really saying anything. They're just taking up time, maybe. Then all of a sudden, as you keep going, you keep coasting along with the strategy, they'll attack you. They'll start telling you why it's impossible for you to understand. Yeah, that's what they'll start telling you. But here's the cool part about that. Even when they start attacking you personally, because they're at their wits' end, and all of a sudden, after 15, 20 minutes, they start telling you why you wouldn't understand, and all of that is still a level of sanctimony. It's still hypocrisy at its best. It's still the person at their wits' end. You know why? Because if they always knew why you wouldn't understand, and they always knew that your race or your background or your height or your weight or your diet or your lifestyle or your relations or where you live at wouldn't allow you to understand, why would that person want you to have that discussion about their initial? See, this is what I'm saying. It becomes what I call a straw man's argument, right? A straw man's fallacy, right? So it's just an easy strategy. That's all you got to do. See, here's the other thing. If you know the person's personality, it's a done deal. It's a done deal because you just tweak it. Like when I present, when I make a statement, because I'm not always. Sometimes I initiate the discussion, the debate with the guys, right? I initiate. Like I say, I don't do it as much with women because, to me, a lot of women, they, I don't like the way he talked to me, and I know you start reminding them of their father that abused them when they was kids, their aunt that locked them in the closet for 3 days after they came home from school during the week, and some crazy ex-husband and all that shit. And before you know it, you done committed battery and didn't even know it. So I just nah, I'm good. I'm good. You got it. You know it. That's kind of where I'm at with it. But with men, it's fun and it's good and it's healthy. Why? Because there is that carrot, that dialectical materialism, as we say. In other words, It's like what came first, the egg or the chicken? Well, with dialectical materialism, you have the dialect, you have the idea of things, and then you have the material. Are things coming out of the material, the physical manifestation of what's here, or is it the dialect? Is it the idea? Is it our thoughts that we speak these things into existence, and then with our skill set and different things like that, we can make it pop? Yeah. But anyway, just a thought, man. Just a thought. As I ride through downtown this morning, I do want to say good morning to everybody. It's Thursday. I did not and do not check the comments, but I'm gonna go through them now. So I want to send a shout out to Evan. I'm in the south side of Chicago, actually downtown in Chicago in the West Loop. Good morning, Evan. Yup. Cherry Apple Rock. That's where my birth son is. Oh, okay. Good morning, Cherry. Or Cherry, I apologize. I do. Yeah. So all I'm saying, guys, and I want to say thank you for everybody stopped through the light, switch back to green. But all I'm getting at is the low-hanging fruit of winning debates. Now, I'll say this with guys, right? For the most part, not all the time, but Bell's curve representing a standard deviation of 68%, representing that higher upper level of that parabola of things occurring, the probability of things occurring. For the most part, men can have debates. They can be losing their wits in and attack each other personally in them debates, and it's no thing. Yeah, it's no thing. Yeah. All of that stuff happens. People cheat the conversation. They cheat the debate. They start telling you about your ex-wife and you ain't raised your kid. They attack you, which is fine. That's the barometer of where they at, because you done tore their ass up, right? With their own words. See, that's the thing. Listen to what I'm saying. You guys could win any debate with me now on this live. If I was to engage you. Why? Because I've been running my mouth for 15 minutes. So if we was in a discussion, I'm vulnerable to losing the debate. Why? Because I've been talking. So things that I've presented, I have to stand on that. And everything else that comes behind it, I have to stand on that. And if I don't, you get to make me qualify those statements. And if I can't, then I start telling you, well, you don't really understand what I meant. Right? I start saying to you guys, you know what? I don't know why y'all join this live, right? Now, I done already said good morning and thank you, and it's your time, and you can't get it back. It's crazy. Let me see if I can park. It's the craziest stuff. Man, it's life. It's good shit, though. It's just good shit, man. That's what I'm gonna say. I need my phone, though.